Hey guys, I have with me a Magneticsweeper by Heart. You can pick it up to about $100. You run it along the ground, it picks up all the rubbish. So we've come to this spot here by this lovely shaft, and usually every man and his dog has been here over the hundreds of years, and they've left their C-wrap literally everywhere. So we came through here last night and I was like, oh, this looks like quite a nice area to detect. The ground looks nice, but just honestly, the detector just went crazy. So I'm gonna take you to a little spot in between this shaft and just a shaft over here. So I'm gonna walk over here, guys, and we're gonna have a look at just some rubbish. You can see some on the floor, but I mean, this area here was particularly like intense. So we'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll run the sweeper along and just see how much crap it picks up. So I'm going to run this along. You can see the bottom of it's clean. You have this lever, so you run it along, then you pull this up and all the stuff that you pick up drops off. So let's chuck it on the ground. I can't really see anything too physical here, like you can't see like big, I'm going to stay away from the big chunks of it. Just run it along. Oh, bit of a rock. See what we get. Okay. And in that little space, that's what we found. You got nails in here. Like, who brings nails out prospecting? Bolts. You can see why I couldn't even come near this with a detector. So I think what we should do is let's find a spot that's maybe not as bad as this. And we'll make sure we've got some noise there with the detector, and then we'll run this over it and see if it picks up noise. So to get rid of all of this, you literally just lift this bad boy up. And look at that. That's a lot of stuff. And like I said, this ground that I walked over didn't look like too bad. All right guys, so what we've done here is we've marked out this section just between two shafts. You have a shaft over here to my left. We have a shaft just over to my right over there by that little tree, and obviously the big shaft here. Now, this is probably really good ground. Obviously, you got three shafts all right next to each other. But I've tried to pick a spot where it's not too rocky, and that looks relatively clean. Okay, so like walking over this, like I can't physically see any like big chunks of metal, okay? So I haven't run my detector over it. We'll run our detector over it and see what it sounds like. Okay, so we can see that there's an old detector hole here as well. So obviously we have signs of gold, or someone's dug up some rubbish or something, but the detector hole genuinely looks pretty old. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through and sweep this area with the detector, see what we find. There should be plenty of rubbish around here. I came through, like I said last night, with the detector, and yeah, I just couldn't get anywhere. Let's have a look. So you can see, like, there's no way you're detecting through here, right? There's just so much crap everywhere. And this will just turn you off. So like normally if you're detecting at night, what will happen, or even during the day, you'll be like, look, there's just so much rubbish here. I can't even detect, right? You'll just be like, nah, I'm out of here. Find me a spot that I can get a decent signal, right? So what'll be interesting is we'll use the Magneticsweeper and see if we can actually clean this up a bit and see if there's anything below it. All right, so I'm just gonna start over in the corner, pretty much work my way down. So obviously, like, rocks are a big thing. So if you wanted an area, you might want to just move the big rocks. Yeah, or rake it. I don't know if you'd be able to get through there real good. All right, what did we get at the end of the first run? Let's have a look. Whole bunch of rubbish. Now I'm just gonna put the rubbish in a pile so we can see how much we get from just this small area. That when you walk around on it, actually looks clean. Just like mowing the lawn. All right, so let's have a look at the piles, see what we got. Bolts, washers, marine washers, plus all sorts of stuff just from that sweep. Let's go have a look at the other pile. I'm sure it's similar. So we've got bottle tops, caps, pieces of old anodes, bolts, bits of wire, nail. Now nails I don't understand because like, who's even building anything out of wood? I suppose it for the shafts maybe. Anyway, let's run the detector over and see if it actually works. Oh, look at that, that's a whole nother setup, isn't it? I couldn't even walk across there without it going nuts. So let's see. Now would I have more confidence detecting in here now after I've just done this? Again, maybe something got trapped in between these rocks. I mean, it's got most of it. I could not walk like this distance before. That's definitely rubbish. Okay, I mean, we probably had like 2 pieces of rubbish through there, but I'd say they're probably a bit deep for the magnet thing to actually suck up. I mean, you could definitely dig them. One of them's definitely rubbish, and the other one down there sounded halfway decent. I'll just run straight down the middle, and then we might just have a look at what it didn't get. So I did okay over this area where I removed the rocks, but over there where I didn't remove the rocks, I think that's a big thing. So you might have to watch how close you can get with it as well. So again, bit of reef, I think, like not reef, bit of like rock structure there. Could be something stuck in the bottom of that. I find with the 6000 it gets real noisy real quick. You got to continually just keep balancing it out. That's rubbish. All right, so I think I've got one here, sounded interesting. One over here, which was rubbish somewhere. It's definitely rubbish. So I mean, in this area, I think there was one over here as well. So we have like 4 signals. They do sound like rubbish. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, 5. So we've gone from not being able to like detect this area at all to having, and I probably wouldn't dig the ones that are really banging, like, you know, high pitched banging. I didn't really feel like I had like a nice gold sound, like a nice, you know, smooth sound on the detector. But we'll dig these up and see how far down they go. I mean, they might be like a couple of 100 mil or 100 mil under the surface. But yeah, obviously in terms of cleaning the top of that off, I could not get my detector through here, but now this is actually a workable space, okay? Okay, so on second thoughts, what I thought I might do is just run this back over those spots again and see if I can pick it up. And then maybe I ran over it too fast, who knows? So let's see if it picked anything up. I mean, not really, unless it was a small, oh yeah? There's a bit of metal there like that. That's probably what it was. So I'd be interested to run that detector back over and see if that solved that issue. All right, so that looks like that has now picked up that piece of rubbish. So it might take you 2 passes maybe, like do the first one, and if you've got any spots, come back and try again. What I'm going to do now is I'll just run over these other spots and see if I can do the same thing. So also this one here's got a few rocks around it, so obviously I might not have got like real close. The other thing you could also do is, I think this is just general magnets on the bottom of these. You could probably beef this bad boy up with like some rare earth magnets and some bigger tires for going over one. But yeah, for $100 save you a couple hours. Certainly much rather run this thing over than dig. What do we got? So let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's probably it there. Bit of steel. I mean, it could have been anything. It could have been like, that's another little bit of steel. Okay, so let's have a look. Look at that. How good is that thing? That's so good. How long would it take you to dig that? I mean, it would take me like 5-10 minutes to dig that one, 5-10 minutes to dig that one. There's 20 minutes worth of digging, or 5 seconds of running that over the top. I know which I'd rather. So honestly guys, like this is something that we'll be adding to our repertoire. I mean, I could go over and do the other 5 spots, but I think you guys get the general idea. And again, if it is 100 mil deep, it's probably not going to suck it up out of the ground. But in an area that literally you could not run your detector across, I can now, do this. It is a bit of work, but if you know that you're in an area where there's like high chances of being gold, or they've done a whole bunch of scraping, for example, and there's just rubbish on top of it, but you know that there's a high chance of gold because I've already scraped, this could be like a massive game changer. So I've just been going back over this, gridding this out with the 6000, GPX 6000. I've got this kind of faint signal here. I don't know exactly what it is. So we should dig it up. Is it gold or is it junk? Let's check it out. Where is it? So that's more the sound that you want, obviously, than say like a piece of metal like this. It's probably a bit drastic. So something like this, much higher chance of being gold. So we'll just scrape the top off. Now it might just be in that first, tiny little bit. If it's still there, I'll be excited. Perfect. So I'll take this out. That's probably definitely rubbish. I'll just move this out. So all that's loose sand, dirt. That's what you want. See how it's getting louder as well? So the reason I try to keep my piles separate, so I've got this pile, now this one, is because if I want to do when I pull my scoop up, everything's in a separate pile. Oh man, that's getting a bit rough. Okay, so it looks like we've got it out now. All right, we'll grab a scoop. Oh, I nearly caught it. Now the thing I find with this 6000 is that like if you're scooping on a 7000, you'll come across the top like this, right? Or like that. And it actually works quite good, but because this is a smaller coil, you'll actually get a better result. See how we've been doing it across here? You can get more run across the coil. If you just run it on this top bit, this outside ring, it doesn't really pick it up. So you want to get as close to the inner ring as you can, particularly with the really small nuggets. Let's have a look. Not in pile number 1. Oh, what could it be? Let's wait and see. Okay, so it's in here. Okay, so it's now in my hand. Have it again. That's it right there, I reckon. So it was tiny little bit of metal, but it's about the right signal for where we are now. Lots of rubbish, low signal, perfect. Now obviously the metal puller upper, whatever you call it, the Magneticsweeper, is not going to pull it up, underneath all this dirt. So especially something as tiny as that. But yeah, there we go. Turned out it was a piece of junk. Anyway guys, hope that helps. Hopefully you got something out of that. Also, make sure you check out the next video. We have heaps of it for you. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one.